Want candy? Want candy now?
What's going on, everybody? Nazdarachi coming back at you guys yet again for the Part 2 Relic review for the Iron Will, Iron Fist Final Fantasy VI event. We have some interesting relics on the banner itself, which we're going to cover in a minute. But first off, we also have the Maw of Despair. This is going to be a Final Fantasy I themed battle versus Chaos. So this is the new boss rush event here. Be sure to check that out. A little bit easier than the Apocalypse difficulty Gilgamesh. You're looking at 160 on Chaos. A lot of magic damage, so just kind of plan for that. He also can slow your party members, so having BSBs and party Hastega effects is going to be quite useful. Also, you have your Jumpstart battle versus Chatternook, which is the painting from Final Fantasy VI that has the angelic and demonic representations. Now, you're going to have to balance a little bit of phase changing between those two states, as well as holy and fire damage are both going to be handy. So possibly consider Celis BSB 1 for its Burst Command 2 that does holy and fire damage. Beyond that, you as well have the Conquest Raid versus the Fiend. This is going to be very heavy magic and physical. He's got lots of debuffs and afflictions for your party, so he's going to be rather challenging. If you have a good team of online players, you should be able to get through it, but this is a fun one, quite challenging. Reapplying debuffs and timing them correctly is going to be very crucial, and as well having good heals and some good breakdowns as well. With that being said, we also will be covering the Summer Relic Draw Festival Phase 2 in this video. I'm going to try and streamline things so it doesn't take as long or quite as long as you might think covering both banners, and there still will be soul break animations for all of the new equipment in the Relic Draw for the Summer Festival. So with that being said, let's pop right into the Final Fantasy VI event and see what we have going on in the Banner 2 here. There are a lot of items on this banner that I really want, but don't necessarily need. And it sucks because some of them are from my favorite Final Fantasy VI characters, and some of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, period. But your first item here is the Scissor Fangs. It is Claws for Sabin. You have Fist Weapon, 172 attack, no bonus effects. And the Overstrike Soul Break, Scorching Meteor Strike. Massive physical fire and non-elemental damage to one target. Deals more damage if the target is vulnerable or has a slight weakness to fire. Breaks the damage cap. Unfortunately, this is probably just slightly above average. It does have a good damage modifier on it for when the enemy is weak to fire, but that being said, it only is going to benefit you in a fire-based situation or when you have some nicely stacked fire and perils on your enemies. So I would love this item for Sabin. I absolutely love him as a character. I don't have his BSB, so leading with just his SSB in this probably wouldn't be the greatest combination. I would actually prefer his BSB, but you do have about a 0.6% chance is what it's looking like right now. With that being said, all of my percentages for this relic draw are going to be a little bit askew because not a lot of draws have been data mined and crunched together yet. Around 1% ultimately is probably what you're going to see on these Scissor Fangs here. Again, I'd love them, but I wouldn't draw on this banner specifically for this for me because I already have great Final Fantasy VI synergy as it is, and I'm thinking ahead towards maybe phases 2 and 4 on the Summer Festival, and then the Final Fantasy VII event is definitely going to warrant some of my attention. Next up, we have the item that I would most like to have on this banner, mainly because Leo is one of my favorite characters in all of Final Fantasy. Now, it's not a particularly standout, amazing item, but again, I just really want it because I love General Leo as a character. You have light armor, 17 attack, 114 defense resistance. It is Leo's long coat, and you have the small boost to holy damage on light armor. That is quite useful, no synergy required, and tons of characters can wear light armor, so that can definitely help out. You got the Burst Soul Break, Warrior's Warrior, a little redundant, but 8 physical, holy, and earth attacks to one target. Temporarily raise the attack of all allies a moderate amount and resistance a small amount, and haste burst mode to the user. This is a very stackable buff because it's attack of all allies moderate and resistance small. It'll stack with Onion Knight buff, Shout, and lots of other good team effects here. Now on your burst commands, you have Knight's Ambition. Deal 2 physical, holy, and earth attacks to one target. and reduce the delay of the user's knight abilities for 2 turns. If you have the 6-star knight ability, this will stack with that, as well as it'll stack with itself as the burst command being knight and burst command 2 also. So the delay reduction is good. Unfortunately, we only have 2 attacks, not 4. He is a knight, and they are not always known for their amazing DPS qualities. General's Pride, command 2, 2 physical, holy, and earth attacks to all targets. Temporarily attract single target physical and black magic attacks to the user and raise the user's defense a very large amount. So for black magic, you only have the small resistance buff from entry there, so you might be somewhat concerned in a heavy magic damage based situation. But in a physical based situation, Leo is just going to take it like a champ. I just really want this item for the aesthetics of it, the plus holy damage, and because I love General Leo, I have his SSB already, Shock, and the animation on that is awesome. And it seems like, as of right now, you have around a 1.5-ish% chance to pull Leo's BSB. I suspect that will drop a little bit over time. Next up, we have another quite good BSB, Strago's Cloak, light armor again, with your 17 magic, 114, 114, and small boost to water damage, no synergy required. This is a pretty rare effect, and comboing it on a light armor yet again makes it very viable for tons of characters to use. Riku could potentially wear this in a Final Fantasy VI 220 dungeon, or, you know, tons of good combinations for that. So definitely appreciate that on this cloak here. You got the Burst Soulbreak lore, which is a whole cool little subcategory of attack that was unique to Strago in Final Fantasy VI. 7 magic, water, wind, and earth attacks to all targets. So you got the tri-element, and water, wind, and earth are all secondary elements, so they will shine in situations where lots of times the primary elements are resisted, but secondary not so much. Again, don't expect a terrifically huge amount of damage off of this by itself, but it is pretty good. You get infusion of the power of water as well, which will stack quite nicely with his burst commands here. Aquatic Shard, deal 4 magic, water, and earth attacks to 1 target, and enable 1 ally to avoid 1 magic attack. A little bit more reliable than Realm's Legend materia, so you can plan some successful usage of this. You'll always get the blink, it's not something that's just kind of rando trigger, so that can be useful. You get the 4 attacks as well, but it kind of splits between damage and utility here, so not going to be another top tier DPS mage BSB, but it is still very useful, quite good. Strago just being an awkward looking old man is the only thing that I really don't like about the character in general. And Aquatic Gale, 2 magic, water, and wind attacks to 1 target, ignoring its resistance. This is quite interesting. It's only 2 attacks, 1 target, so a little bit different than what we're used to on Burst Commands 2, but it does have the Pierce effect on it. So this actually will be quite useful, ignoring its resistance entirely. Now, I don't know if this actually ignores immunity, but it might just drop immunity to resisted. So, something interesting I'm definitely going to have to check out, but having this Pierce effect makes this a quite unique and actually reasonably useful BSB. I honestly would not mind pulling this one at all. And it seems like you're looking at probably around a 0.8% chance to draw this BSB here. Something, I would really appreciate, but I don't know if I would draw on the banner specifically for it. God Hand, another fist weapon for Sabin here. This is his BSB, also fire-based. 132 attack and no bonus effects. Perdition's Phoenix, deal between 7 and 10 fire and non-elemental attacks to 1 target. Infuse the user with the power of fire, and grant haste burst mode to the user. The number of attacks is determined by your attack stat. Pretty good. Again, it doesn't have fire imperil on it, so if the enemy isn't already weak to fire, it's not going to help you trigger the effect on his OSB. But you do get a high attack count, and Sabin is known for doing pretty good amounts of damage here. His attack stat is quite nice. Flame Cannon, 4 physical, fire, non-elemental attacks to 1 target. Temporarily raise the user's attack and defense a small amount each time the ability is used. So in tune with really good monk abilities here, he's gaining both his stats. He doesn't actually lose out on anything. You have the 4 attacks with a reason to recast them. It does stack up to 8 times, so you will get very good benefits once you've cast this quite a few times here. Flame Volley, 2 physical, fire, non-elemental attacks to all targets. Super ultra basic, no secondary modifier on it whatsoever. So honestly, they made that kind of garb because they know you're just going to be recasting Flame Cannon here. And that is what I would recommend. Interesting BSB, again, really good in a fire-based situation. I would honestly rather have that BSB than the OSB. So, love Sabin. You seem to have, as well, about a 1.6 chance of pulling the God Hand right now, but I do suspect that'll drop as well as more people make pulls. Next up, we have the LMR for Terra here. Again, a fire-based situation. It will see some good use there. So, Asura's Rod, 55 attack, 134 magic, 66 mind, no bonus effects whatsoever, so no boost to fire damage or resistance fire. I would expect, since it's a rod, that it might have a little bit of plus fire damage, but I guess not. And Legend Materia here, Innate Power, small chance for offensive fire abilities to trigger twice. This is quite useful in a fire-based situation. If you're spamming out fire abilities and you chain Firaga, get 4 hits on it, awesome, that is definitely going to help you out. But again, only in a fire-based situation is this truly going to shine. Terra is capable of messing around with a lot of other elements besides just fire, and she can summon to a certain degree as well. It's going to be a very niche effect, but a very, very good niche effect. And if you already have Terra's OSB, for example, now I don't think that that will trigger twice, unfortunately, but if you already have her stacked fairly well with fire abilities, I believe she's got some good fire abilities on some of her BSB commands, Chaos Firaga if I'm not mistaken. It will play in nicely with Terra's fire-based theme, but by itself, you're going to want, I guess, to combo a chain Firaga would be your best bet. And you're looking at... There's no percent at all listed for this, so I'm going to assume it's going to be around 0.95 to right under or around 1%. So that one is reasonably good, again, if you're building Terra. LMR next here for Sabin, the Vishnu Vest, 17 attack, 115 defense resistance, light armor, and no bonus effects for poor old Sabin here either. You have the Master's Teachings, increase the user's attack a moderate amount proportional to the number of monk abilities the user has used. This will stack really nicely with his stacking BSB Command 1. Outside of that, there are some really good 5-star monk abilities that you will see benefits from this with as well. So mainly, the thing that screams out to me is comboing this with his Burst Soul Break. That is going to provide the maximum effect there because, like I said again, that stacks as well. So you're having multiple stacking stacks of stacks going on here to make Sabin bum rush the ever-living crap out of whatever enemy that he's fighting against. This might not be something you would take to all situations, but when it shines, it is really going to shine. And the Vishnu Vest seems to be around a 0.6% drop rate as of right now, so seems relatively low, but I do expect that to actually probably come up a little bit as time goes on to, again, right under 1%. We have the Whale Whisker, a SSB for Strago here. Another Rod, 55 attack, 128 magic, 105 mind, and Super Soul Break Mighty Guard, grant Protect and Shell to all allies, temporarily raise their resistance a large amount. So this is quite useful for Final Fantasy VI Sid missioning. You get Pro Shelga all in one, and you get the resistance buff also, so that will stack with Shell to give them even more magic resist. Outside of synergy or Sid mission type situations, this still can help out by freeing up ability slots, but I don't know if Strago would really make it into your A team unless maybe you have his BSB as well. Still, I don't think Strago is quite A team material, but for Sid missions and synergy dungeons, this will be a very, very useful effect here. And it seems like you have about a 2.1% chance to pull this SSB here. Not something that truly shines on the banner, but can be useful. Round out your Final Fantasy VI party. Next up, we have an item that I do already have 2 dupes of, Sabin's Armlet here. This was a very interesting SSB for me, but it's kind of in line with some monk abilities. You do have a bracer, so everybody can wear it. It's useful. 26 attack, 18 magic, 94 defense, 90 resistance, and 19 mind. No bonus effects. And your Super Soul Break Soul Spiral. Restore a moderate amount of HP to all allies proportional to their max HP. Temporarily raise their defense a large amount and cast Asuna on them. So it is highly utilitarian, obviously does no damage whatsoever. You get a heal, so supplementary or secondary heal to Realm or Mog maybe. And then you do get the Asuna across the whole team. And you get the defense buff, which honestly in a physical-based dungeon, that really does help quite a bit. About 3% it's looking like chance to pull this. Really don't want that one because I already have it 6-starred, so hopefully we can super avoid that one even on a 100 gem pull. Tiger Fang coming up next here is another claw for Sabin, 125 attack, and that's the only stat, no bonus effects. Another Super Soul Break, Phantom Rush, 8 physical attacks to 1 target and enable each ally to avoid 1 physical attack. It's got a reasonably high attack count there, 8's pretty good, and the team physical blink, while not ultra useful, will definitely come in handy in some high level situations. If you don't have his BSB or his OSB and you have this, you can still spam it out for a lot of protection on your team. Not something that I would really be looking for on this banner, but if you already have a lot of Sabin's other good stuff and you just need to round him out, maybe you'd want to pick this up also. About a 1.7% chance it's looking like to drop so far. And again, the highlight of that one is going to be that physical blink. Next up, we have the Imperial High Blade for my boy General Leo here. It is a dupe again for me, so hopefully I can avoid pulling this one again. But you got the sword, 132 attack, no bonus effects, and Super Soul Break Shock. I absolutely love this effect in the Final Fantasy VI game. It looks really cool. It's like Ultima almost, but he twirls his sword around and a giant red fireball comes out and nukes everything. So 6 ranged physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to all targets. Temporarily lower their resistance to holy, and the damage dealt increases when facing fewer enemies. This is very similar to Reno's Super Soul Break, but different elements. And the Imperial Holy being the highlight on it is quite good. Doesn't ever do a horrific amount of damage, but the animation on it is amazing. And it has picked up this holy quality, I guess because he's a knight in FFRK. In Final Fantasy VI, the game itself, it's just pure non-elemental damage. So having 2 elements on it does make it even that much more useful in Record Keeper here. And it seems like you have about a 0.8% chance to pull this Relic here, which is kind of low. That's good. Said I already have it, so I wouldn't want to draw it again. That is all the items on the banner. Now again, I really want to draw on this banner just to draw on it for fun. I don't really need any of the items on this banner, but man, I really just want to pull on it just because. For now, I'm only going to stick to the 100 gem draw, even though I really want to pull on this banner really badly. I really want General Leo's BSB, or Sabin's BSB, or Strago's BSB. Really, any of the BSBs on this banner would all be really, really good for me. But no glow, 3-star, sad day. They don't want me to have fun with my Final Fantasy VI characters here, it seems, which makes me sad. So I don't really know what to really do here. Wasting Mithril is not a good idea because I have plenty of time to build back up to 50 for Final Fantasy VII. I really don't know what I'm going to do yet, so I may revisit this banner later. For now, though, no crazy pulls on it. Again, I have Final Fantasy VI Synergy out the booty hole, but there's just some stuff that I really would like on that banner. So that's the end of that. Next up, we do have the Relic Draw Festival. So let's check out the Phase 1 here. Now, they do have this really handy tooltip on the very top of the Relic Draw subsection here, so you can check out every single phase on your own here. But let's go ahead and quickly look through some of these. Like I said, I'll throw some animations up for all the new moves, but some of the older ones I'm probably not going to devote that much time to, just because they're in my previous episodes, and as well, it just helped me keep the time down a little bit on editing and everything. So, Ultra Soul Break Fairy's Bow for Rosa. Instantly restore a large amount of HP to all allies, automatically heal damage they take up to 2k in total, and enable 1 magic blink. This is actually super useful. It would help out my Final Fantasy IV synergy really well. Overall, it's not probably in the top echelon of Ultra Soul Breaks, but I would say it's really close. It does have the magic blink, which can be very useful. Damage stock is a little bit low, but you do have the instant heal on it as well to combo with the damage stock. So you're pretty much guaranteed that all your characters are going to be back to full health, and it's not going to take very long with the instant heal for them to get there. And for the Fairy's Bow, it seems like we're looking at about a 0.74% drop rate. So fairly low on that one right there. I know Brotherhood Legacy got it, so shout out to him. That's pretty awesome. I would have loved to have that as well. Rising Sun, we have an awesome USB for Yuffie here. Instantly deal 8 physical, water, and non-elemental attacks to 1 target, lower its attack and defense a large amount, and restore a moderate amount of HP to all allies based on their max. This is exceptionally good. I would say this one is top tier. You have instant 8 physical water attacks to one target, so it's really going to shine in a single boss fight. If you're versus multiple enemies, it's not going to be quite as useful, but still very, very, very useful. So you have the instant damage, you have a large attack and defense break, and you have a heal for your whole team, all in the same relic, and again, all instantly. So this is super, super ultra useful. This would be the highlight item that I would be gunning for if I was going to make any heavy pulls on phase 1 here, because I already have Conductor, and the bow, while it is good, is not quite as good as this Rising Sun right here. You have about a 1% even chance to pull the Rising Sun, and I would love it. I already have Yuffie's BSB, so it would stack quite nicely on my Final Fantasy VII team. Next up, we have the Conductor. If any of you are familiar with my channel or watch my streams, you've seen the usefulness of this item. It is they restore a large amount of HP to all allies, raise any dead ones back to life, restore a moderate amount of their HP, and then grant everyone last stand in haste. It makes resurrecting in this game super viable. For me, it makes it feel much more nostalgic, like an old Final Fantasy game where using a Phoenix down and getting back into the fight was actually an option, as opposed to having to force close the game and reopen it and restart the battle. So I do love this USB. I think it is a top tier USB, and if you put it on a team with 2 healers, which is kind of cheap, takes some of the challenge out. You have to find a good way to make up the DPS, but it makes your team almost unkillable. So I love the Conductor. I use it quite frequently, and you're right around a 1% chance to pull it as well here. Demon's Rod is an OSB for Kuja, a small boost to dark damage on it also, so that's useful. Massive magic dark and non-elemental damage to one target, deals more damage if the user is afflicted with doom, can break the damage cap. It's somewhat like Sid Raines Jr. over here. It does have a reasonably good effect. His other soul breaks that are dark themed will boost the power of this as well. So you do have that, and dooming himself does have a fixed multiplier, which is why I call him Sid Raines Jr. Sid Raines OSB would be significantly better than this one, because as the doom counter gets lower, the multiplier gets astronomically higher, up to I think around 4,800% when the counter's at 3 seconds or less. This would fit into a dark themed team still quite nicely, and you have about a 1.11% chance to pull the Demon's Rod there. The BSBs here, Metamorphosis Claws, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that one. It's a super popular item, probably the top mage BSB in the game for DPS, and that's just because of the instant effect, the buffs that are on it, and as well the bargain command. Sid Raines, AAA plus characters. Not going to spend too much more time with that one, because we all hopefully know it. If you're a new character, check out my Final Fantasy XIII banner when I pulled this relic here, and you'll get the full breakdown on it there. It seems like you have about a 1.08% chance to pull the Metamorphosis Claws on this go around here. Next up, we have Quistis' Dress, BSB for her here. Pretty good for poison. It does have a bargain on command too that'll up her damage with magic, and she does get the end poison, so she will team up quite nicely with Edgar, for example, who has, I believe, the only Imperial poison in the game. Burst Command 1, unfortunately, doesn't have any cast time reduction or anything. It's got like status effects that are attached to it, but still 4 attacks. Quistis is pretty good. This BSB is not like super top tier, but it is really good, and if you're trying to build a poison themed team, you almost have to have it, because there aren't very many super poison based characters in the game at this point. And for Quistis' Dress, you have about a 0.63% chance to pull it here. It wouldn't be a dupe for me, so I honestly wouldn't mind that or this stuff if I move down here. But this is another item that I just covered in the Final Fantasy IX banner, so I'm not going to do a full breakdown on it. I believe it is a better effect on it than her first BSB. Has a lot to do with Ramuh, healing effects. You have the Summon Strike tokens, so I really like that one. Seems like you have about a 0.74% chance to pull the Staff of Ramuh, so I wouldn't mind that one at all. Next up, we have the Sunblade. This is a very good BSB. It has the 4 instant range physical holy non-elemental attacks to all targets, and you have the magic blink for your whole team. It's pretty interesting to see that on a physical based BSB, something that you can spam out to keep your team somewhat safer. And as well, the Burst Command 1 chains, so the more times you use it, you can get up to, I believe, 8 attacks on it, which makes his DPS ability pretty good. You want to just keep recasting this BSB so you can stack the Burst Command 1 and as well keep getting those magic blinks. I wouldn't mind pulling this one as well at all. My Final Fantasy II synergy is terrible, so I'd love this one. About a 0.93% chance to pull the Sunblade there. Next up we have the Healer's Circlet. This is Y'shtola's very famous, very popular, and very effective BSB here. We have the restore a large amount of HP to all allies, grant them 30% Stone Skin Barrier, and you have Haste Burst Mode to the user, with the Burst Command 1 being an instant large heal to one person, and Burst Command 2 being the standard medica for the whole team. I would love this item as well, but you need to kind of have her Stone Skin too to make her a completely viable character. If you have both the Stone Skin and this BSB, she can replace Tiro and a healer, kind of both in one on your party. She can use Wrath as well, meaning that she is very good at generating Soul Break gauge to keep the party safe. So this is a definitely AAA plus healing BSB, right up there with Vanille's instant BSB. In my opinion, very, very good. It's eluded me throughout the whole game so far, so I wouldn't honestly mind pulling it, but I don't have her Stone Skin too, so she'd really only be half complete without that also. Seems like you have about a 0.82% chance for that Healer's Circlet there. Terra's Legacy is Kuja's BSB, small boost to dark damage on it also, it's kind of useful there. 8 magic dark non-elemental attacks to random targets, temporarily lower their dark resistance, and grant haste and burst mode to the user. Again, this fits in quite nicely on a dark themed team with the Imperial Dark. It will help out his OSB as well, and comboing him on a team with Sid Reigns and Golbez and Garland, and you know, you could have lots of dark themed fun. Dark Knight Cecil also quite nice. He hurts himself a little bit, but still a good character. I think that this is a good BSB, but not as good as Metamorphosis Clause. If you don't already have Metamorphosis Clause, that's honestly the one you'd want over this one on this particular banner. And you have about a 1.04% chance to pull the Legacy there. Super Soul Breaks. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel here. Darkening Cloak. Really the only value on this is the Infusion of the Power of Dark. Cloud of Darkness BSB is what you'd honestly rather have, and that's not on this banner, so probably want to avoid that one there. And the Wizard Rod, major regen haste to the whole party, temporarily raise their resistance a moderate amount. This is a good Final Fantasy IX source of haste, and the regen, like we've said before, can kind of offset sap and poison damage. So Wizard Rod and Darkening Cloak. The Wizard Rod, you have 2.3% chance it looks like, and the Darkening Cloak, you're at a 2.63% chance to pull. Would honestly want to avoid both of those SSBs right there. But let's go ahead and make a 100 gem pull on this as well. See if we get anything reasonable. I honestly hope it would have been on Final Fantasy VI instead of this, but you never know what we might get here. We've done a lot of 100 gem pulls with no lucks for a while now, so only a 4-star. Still, the no luck continues. I think that's going to be all for this episode. Now, I might revisit the Final Fantasy VI banners before that event goes away. Like I said, I'm still really interested in those. Phase 1 is for that USB right there for Yuffie, really good, and a couple other items if you don't already have them, but it's not really in my best interest. I think phases 2 and 4 are the ones that I'm most highly considering. Again, see the tooltip on the main Relic draw to just check out all the items across all the banners. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of Relic Review. Sorry it is a little bit longer, but it is 2 banners combined into one. I'm going to try and edit it down a little bit, but if you like the content, do throw a like on it. Definitely helps me out. Sub to the channel if you haven't already, and join our Final Fantasy family here as well. I'll have some other games. Lots of good stuff coming out in the future, so Record Keeper is not going to be the only thing on this channel. I hope if you pulled on either one of these banners, Final Fantasy VI or the Phase 1, you had amazing luck. Comment down below what you pulled, what you want to pull, or what you're saving for. I'd love to have some discussion about all that. And again, this is Nasbarachi. I hope you guys do have a great day, and I will catch you for the next episode. Peace out, you guys. Happy Summer Festival 2017. Catch you later.